Issues are many in our neighboring countries. So let's discuss one in India Focus analysis and two others in the international news. Sri Lanka is battling its worst economic crisis. The country is running out of fuel, is running out of electricity, oil, rice, wheat, and many other essentials. I feel it's not just an economic crisis, but it's a sure shot political crisis and which has also led to a humanitarian crisis. Is this a collapse of Sri Lankan economy or an end to Rajapaksa's political future? When did it start? Why did it start? All these big questions to be answered in this edition, viewers. Followed by that, we have the week's news and the international news coming your way. I welcome each and every one of you to D.India Focus, the weekend edition. I am Sricharan. Let's start, viewers. Before starting, I would like each and every one of you to do subscribe, hit the bell icon, and support this young team. So let's start. When we look at Sri Lanka's economic crisis, it's severe. Sri Lanka is facing its economic crisis to such an extent that it has 13-hour-long power cuts. Also, the inflation of the nation has moved to an extent where the petrol prices and the diesel prices have shot up to 250 rupees per litre. The price of 1 kg rice is 215 in Sri Lankan rupee. One gas cylinder costs 4,200 in Sri Lankan currency. Look at the devastating situation of Sri Lanka, viewers. How did this happen? Did this happen suddenly? Did this happen overnight? What led to such an economic crisis? Let's discuss all these. Let's answer all these. And let's start, viewers. I will surely call this a man-made crisis, and if you ask me why, it's because this crisis was not made overnight, but was surely made by the ruling government, the Rajapakshas. Sri Lanka is called as Democratic Republic, but I don't understand why they're called so. Sri Lanka is being ruled by one family, a family politics. President is Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The Prime Minister is Mahinda Rajapaksa. The Finance Minister also from the same family, and the Irrigation Minister also from the same family. Five powers to one family means something like a dictator. The Rajapaksas controlled whole of Sri Lanka. According to the 20th Amendment by them, it gave the president enormous and a huge power to even remove and appoint judges. I feel the dictatorial decisions created such an havoc in the country. You ask me why? I'll tell you, viewers, as we go through. Sri Lanka is facing two big challenges, has been facing two big challenges too. It's ever since its history. One of the problems faced at are to diversify their exports, which is not done. 90% of exports was from plantation, is from plantation, and also those were from rubber, coconut, and tea. Only three. These three exports made the economy narrower. This led to the second big challenge, the decrease in forex exchange reserve. Now you would surely get a doubt as to what is this forex exchange reserve. It's also called foreign exchange reserve. Foreign exchange reserves are assets held on reserve by a central bank in foreign currencies. Putting this out in simple words, forex reserve price decreases when the exports of the nation decreases. Major General NDSP was appointed as the controller of civil supplies during 2019 late 2019 during the COVID period. This Major General was given a responsibility of checking the hoarding of rice, sugar, and other essentials. Why was there a hoarding of all such essentials? It was because of the shortage of these essentials. And why was there a shortage? Let's understand that, viewers. Let's go deep into it. The reason why there was shortage of essentials was simple and clear, and that was Sri Lanka is dependent on exports and imports. I'll give you a not an example, but an instance of what happened over there to understand the situation. Traders used to get the imported goods in dollars. Letter of credit was used many a times when there is a purchase which takes place. So during letter of credit, the Sri Lankan rupees to dollars was somewhere around 150. Let's assume it to be 150. But when they had to pay it was somewhere around 200 or 230. So the traders had a loss It's not just an economic loss for the traders, but a national loss. Also, the government issued a statement saying the trader further cannot take the foreign exchange cover for their purchase. So the traders started hoarding the commodities, and people, out of anxiety and fear of shortage, also started hoarding the commodities. Three big reasons why I feel that Sri Lankan economy is at such a situation, viewers. The first thing, COVID has affected every nation, every country, and Sri Lanka's tourism has totally collapsed from COVID-19. Sri Lanka is totally dependent on import-export tourism. So when tourism is affected, their income comes down. That leads to the second point, falling Sri Lankan rupee and the rising prices. Inflation goes up, the rupee goes down, and this becomes a cyclic process. And this was the second reason why Sri Lanka is under such a situation. The third reason, this reason makes my stand evident. I call this a man-made crisis, and also said that one family is to be blamed. Rajapakshas to be blamed. The third reason was the organic farming chaos. I call it a total chaos. The government ordered that the use of insecticides, pesticides, and other chemicals should be stopped. This may be a good idea, seems to be a good idea, but consequences seem to be chaotic. People had to agree, and the newspapers and media were so-called people who had profits from the government, many from the business class. So they didn't have the guts to question the government, and this created the chaos. The ban on use of pesticides and insecticides made the produce decrease by 50%. An agricultural economist said paddy output could fall by as much as 43%, but it was not just paddy that would be hit by the ban. It will affect key exports like rubber, coconut, tea exports, with the latter expected to reduce 40%. This was said by the agricultural economist in Sri Lanka. All this said and done, the dictatorial Rajapakshas did not do anything about it. The newspapers did not question about it. And now Sri Lanka is under an economic crisis. I wrap it up over here, viewers. It's up to you to decide who is to be blamed. Is it Rajapaksha? Is it COVID? Or is there any other reason? It's up to you, viewers. The week's news. Fadnavis calls Shiv Sena a pseudo-secular, asks why people get angry over Hanuman Chalisa recital. CM Bommai, outsource law and order to Sangh Parivar, says Siddaramaiah. Rollout of precaution dose of COVID vaccine begins at private centers. Meteorological Department's Twitter account hacked. Severe heat wave stifles Delhi. Maximum temperature rises to 43 degrees Celsius in some parts. Cloudy conditions may bring some relief from the heat from this Tuesday, is what Meteorological Department predicts. Looking at the international news, we have two big international news coming our way, viewers. One from Pakistan, one from the unending Russia-Ukraine crisis, the Russia-Ukraine war. Let's start with Pakistan. Pakistan opposition parties nominate Shehbaz Sharif as PM election candidate. Putin appoints new army general in a bid to win the Ukraine war. This seems unending, viewers. It's been around 45 days plus, but it seems unending. When will this end becomes a big question, a major question to be answered. The third big international news, Australia's PM calls election on May 21st. I wrap up this edition of D.India Focus over here, viewers. Until the next time I meet you all, signing off, Sricharan. Do subscribe, hit the bell icon, and support the new generation journalism, the youngest team in Indian journalism. Thank you, viewers. Thank you for watching me. Until the next time I meet you all, signing off, Sricharan.